Hi, my name is Shauna, and today we're going to be learning about transition. Introduction of the transition team. Who is involved and what their role is. So, people that are involved in the transition IEP are the student, parents, guardians, and our family member, special education teacher, administrators, or school supports personnel, career and technical education instructor who teaches skills needed for areas of employment, general educators, LEA representative who verifies the availability of resources to achieve IEP goals, related service provider, test interpreter, other individuals with special knowledge or expertise, community service representatives, and other school staff. So whoever really is involved with the student. The student's role is that they must identify an appropriate career path, suggesting activities and services for his or her own transition plan, and provide feedback about the quality of experiences and services provided. Students are also an essential part when discussing preferences or desires. It is also important that the student understands the difference in courses, programs of study, and the transition process from secondary to post-secondary environments. Parents, guardians, or a family member that looks after the student are critical for them to be involved in the transition process and learn all that they can about possible courses and future goals the student may consider. The more family is involved, the more meaningful the IEP will be. Majority of the time, family support is essential in order to get the student to attend and participate as well. Special education teacher. They assist in collecting the information necessary to establish IEP goals and objectives for the student. They also coordinate services and resources, provide direct instruction and reinforcement, and help match student needs and interests with an appropriate occupation. The administrator. Without the administrator, lack of leadership can lead to the underdevelopment of transition services. They can promote a positive attitude as well as provide resources needed to implement IEP activities and services. Any other school personnel help to ensure that activities are coordinated and mandated by IDEA. Career and technical education instructor as well as the general educators assist students with disabilities in taking a leadership role in the transition IEP. They also support students' preparation for employment, self-determination, and how to pursue goals and objectives. A guidance counselor might also be in this IEP, and they are helpful in helping students think about their future, make plans, and emphasize the skills needed in the post-school environment. These conversations can also have an impact on students' self-confidence. Service agencies and adult service providers. IDEA specifies that the parent or guardian can send a request to the service coordinator or other representative to assist in coordination of services for transition. These agencies can help strengthen the community transition team, assist with finding funding, and coordinate transition services. Post-secondary education personnel can provide information on types of services and accommodations and assistive technology available for students with disabilities at colleges and universities. Work experience coordinators help identify and contact potential sites for students to acquire work experience as part of a transition planning. Transition specialists may provide information on various resources that are available for students with disabilities, including community transition systems, mental and medical health providers, financial and independent living resources. What is transition? IDEA defines transition as a coordinated set of activities for a child designed within a results-oriented process, which promotes movement from school to post-school activities, including post-secondary education, vocational training, integrated employment, continuing and adult education, adult services, independent living, and community participation. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act of 2004, IDEA, mandates transition planning in an IEP at age 16 or earlier if the IEP team deems it appropriate. Laws within transition services include Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Education Improvement Act of 2006, which offers opportunities in preparation for employment. And this law is intended to develop more fully the academic and career and technical skills of secondary education students and post-secondary education students who elect to enroll in career and technical education programs. The next law is Workforce Investment Act of 1998, also known as WIA. This authorizes funds and guidelines for helping the nation's job seekers with barriers to employment become trained and ready to enter the workforce. Section 504 is designed to prevent discrimination based on disabilities. The last law within transition services is Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, which reaffirms freedom from discrimination in employment, public services, public accommodations, and services operated by private entities and telecommunications. Roles of assessment and transition planning. This includes career assessment, which relates to lifelong career development for all life roles, vocational assessment, which relates to work and employment, ecological and functional assessment, which involves assessing students in the environment where the skill typically occurs. Definition of assessment is the process of collecting data to make informed decisions. Definition of transition assessment is the process of determining a student's abilities, attitudes, aptitudes, interests, work behavior, levels of self-determination and self-advocacy skills, interpersonal skills, academic level, and independent living skills over an extended period of time for the purpose of planning an appropriate individual education plan, IEP. The process of SJ Revised. So here I have 3 pictures. The first picture is the first page of the SJ, which includes the student's information. It also includes their scores for every profile. And then here on the second picture, you can see that what you need to do is you just read them off, and if they qualify, then you circle yes, and that counts for 1. If it's a no, it counts for 0. So within the first and second picture, you have the first profile, which is employment, and there's 13 questions. And here, my case study student named Dave scored 11 out of 13, so he received an 85% on employment. Dave has learning disability and shunt in his head. He's very active, enjoys the outdoors and working on cars with his dad, and he wants to be a mechanic after he leaves high school. Student interview and SJ results. So Dave is interested in attending a 2-year technical college, either Baker College or University of Northwestern Ohio. In the SJ, in employment, he scored 85%. Recreation and leisure, he scored 100%. Home living, he scored 67%. Community participation, he scored 29%. Post-secondary education, 63%. And his total performance score was at 68%. Interpreting the results, the focus areas for Dave would be community participation, which was at 29%. The next one would be post-secondary education, and then home living. Here we have where the transition services would be at in an IEP, which is under Section 3. And under this, we can fill out what Dave's transition plan would look like and what services would be needed. Here is where teachers can adjust the goals and objectives for the student's needs during the transition. How can services be provided? Teachers can direct students to other supports such as school social workers, guidance counselors, paraprofessionals, etc. They also are able to support the students' needs inside the classroom with whatever they may need. Agencies can provide students with hands-on experience within a certain field, as well as provide them with some do's and don'ts within a workplace. They can, for example, they can set up students with job shadowing and help out a student there. Community. The community is able to support the needs of the student outside the classroom by communicating with agencies and teachers and giving students advice, like employment advice or school advice, or they're just an outside source that are able to help the student. Domains of transition curriculum. Domain 1 is self-determination. Self-determination is the development of personal characteristics, knowledge, and skills needed to take responsibility and control for one's actions. Including these skills in students' IEP should be common practice in special education. The I-PLAN strategy can be used here, which stands for inventory completed by students listing their strengths, weaknesses, learning needs, goals, and choices, which will prepare them for their upcoming IEP conference. Provide your inventory, which involves identifying appropriate time for individuals to share information during the conference, speaking clearly and completely, and referring to inventory as needed. Listen and respond addresses being an active listener and responding to statements made by others in a positive manner. Asking questions focuses on asking appropriate questions to gather needed information. Name your goals to communicate goals and ideas on actions to be taken. Domain 2, social skills. Effective social skills maximize positive responses and minimize negative responses for other people, using functional assessment to identify students' social skill deficits, targets problematic behavior, and allows for a systematic intervention to develop pro-social behaviors that are likely to be positively reinforced by others. Domain 3, career development and employment. An initial step in preparing students for employment is to develop their awareness of the range of occupations in our society. Students also benefit from exploring careers bothered directly through service learning and job tryouts, and indirectly by exploring occupational information. Domain 4 is independent living / life skills. This addresses major life skills competency areas such as raising children and meeting marriage responsibilities with complementary specific competencies. Others teach philosophies of inclusion and acceptance to enhance the integration of individuals with disabilities into the larger community. Domain 5, preparation for post-secondary education. This domain addresses the wide range of skills needed to be a successful learner to access the general education curriculum in high school and beyond. Includes personal development skills, process skills, and expression skills. Assistive technology. IDEA defines assistive technology as any item, piece of equipment, or product system, whether acquired commercially, off-the-shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. Examples of assistive technology would be automatic doors, brailles, or hearing aids. Tracking the learning. You could track Dave's learning through using the Esther J assessment. You could have him practice filling out college applications. We could also set up college visits to Baker College or UNO, raising his math score by 2 grade levels by the time of graduation. Therefore, he has a better chance of getting into these technical colleges. Also setting up a job shadow at Dylan's Auto Shop to make sure this is what he would like to pursue. Conclusion. What I've learned through this is that many personnel are involved in transition planning. The student must be aware of his or her needs and preferences as well as what they want to do after high school. And I also learned through my case study how to use the Esther J and make a transition plan for a student. Thank you.